Where is one main Fano commander for several weeks? The man has been missing from the picture. Some key developments are happening in the area where he's operating, but he's nowhere to be seen. Is he on board with the developments in his area? Does he have some concerns? Where is he? Secondly, when will the fall of Birr against a dollar stop? Will it ever stop? Yesterday, again, Birr fell against a dollar. And lastly, Oromo Federalist Congress issued a statement yesterday announcing to participate in election. Is it a symbolic participation, or Oromo Federalist Congress is in secret coordination with the Ethiopian ruling Prosperity Party? Welcome to the channel. Thanks for watching. Let's start with the news story about Ethiopian Birr, Ethiopian currency falling against a dollar since last year, since July last year. Birr has been falling against dollar, and people say it is related to macroeconomic reforms, which introduced liberalization of foreign exchange market. People say that dollar was being kept at a price in Ethiopia artificially. Determination of price of dollar against Birr was not being done by market forces before macroeconomic reform introduced. So after the reforms, it was the market which was given the authority to decide the value of the price of dollar against Birr, vice versa. And since then, Birr has been falling. It was 57 Birr per dollar, US dollar, last year in July. Yesterday, National Bank of Ethiopia, NBE, sold $50 million to banks. NBE is ensuring that dollars are available at banks and foreign exchange bureaus. That is why it holds dollar auctions regularly. So $50 million were sold by Ethiopian National Bank to private banks at what price? 154 was the price. $1 was sold for 154 Birrs. It was 148 a few weeks ago when National Bank conducted auction. Second last auction was conducted, and back then the rate was 148 Birr per dollar. Yesterday's auction rate was 154 Birr per dollar, showing decline in the value of Birr against dollar. When will it stop? Question is, when will it stop? Black market, again, keeping the distance. 180 Birr per dollar is the price in black market. Still, there is gap in the price of dollar between black market and official market. Secondly, Oromo Federalist Congress has announced to participate in election. Party issued a statement. This party is led by Professor Birr, seasoned Ethiopian politician from the Oromo region. Jawar Mohammed is deputy chairman of this party. OFC says that it will have to participate in the next election due to be held next year, because if it does not, its registration will be cancelled, because according to Ethiopian law, if a party boycotts election twice consecutively, the party will lose its registration. That is why OFC says, OFC and OLF both say they will have to participate. Yesterday, Oromo Federalist Congress announced to participate in elections in Addis Ababa and Shaggar. I think 10 candidates have been fielded by the Oromo Federalist Congress in the election. Other parties like OLF, they are making final preparations. OFC says that it wants release of all political prisoners before the holding of election. It wants uh, deployment of international observers by EU, US to monitor the elections, and it wants transparent election. It wants end to conflicts because of conflicts, because of security situation. OFC has not been able to field candidates in different parts of the country. Question is it symbolic participation, or is OFC in secret contact with the Prosperity Party? Well, if you are not willing to risk your status, it means that you are recognizing the process, which you say is not fair. The process leading to next election, party says not fair. It's not transparent. NEB is not transparent. Election won't be transparent. If you hold this opinion, you should boycott the election. Why are you contesting in entire Addis and Sugar? So I think these OFC and OLF people are confused. Basically, they think that if they launch a few candidates and the few candidates win, they will join the government too. Maybe Abiy will give them a share more than the number of seats they win. So why? Because they have. Why am I saying that? Because they have not done any visible efforts to form an alliance of opposition parties. They are concerned about their own political future. They meet with ruling party leaders. They sought an appointment with the Oromian president a few days ago. But they're not working on forming a joint opposition political front, which shows that they're not sincere in establishing a strong opposition to stand up to Prosperity Party. Lastly, was one Fano commander has not been seen recently, while lots of developments are happening in the area where this Fano commander is operating. I'm talking about Engineer Desalin. Desalin, you know, is Amhara Fano National Force commander in North Shore zone of the Amhara region. In Amhara region, North Shore zone, AFPO is in a strong position. AFPO is led by Skandar Naga, Makatao, and others. AFNF is trying to establish a foothold in Shoa, and Desalin has been fighting AFPO. AFPO and AFNF have been involved in fighting in North Shore zone. But recently we saw some developments that AFPO and AFNF engaged in dialogue. AFNF is trying to expand in Shoa because a few days ago, General Tafra Mamu inaugurated a new corps of Fano fighters in North Shore zone of the Amhara region. And that corps obviously is under General Tafra Mamu. It's not under Desalin. When General Tafra Mamu inaugurated that corps, Desalin was missing from that ceremony. After that, we saw that Masisha surrendered, but AFPU and AFNF commanders, they engaged Colonel Fantahun. They convinced Colonel Fantahun to remain part of Fano. And 2 days ago, we saw pictures. I have placed one such picture on thumbnail showing AFNF and AFPU commanders. Colonel Fantahun was seen, AFPU. Makatao was seen, AFPU. Darsan Barhane was seen, AFNF. And other commanders were seen too. So AFPO and AFNF commanders were seen together. And in a video yesterday, I told you about joint fighting by AFNF and AFPO against Ethiopian military in Daggar on North Shore, South Wollo border. Desalin is nowhere to be seen. If all other Fano commanders can participate in dialogue involving AF, NF, and NFPO commanders, why not Dassalin? Where is he? Skandar was not seen as well, but Skandar generally keeps a low key. And he travels outside Amhara too, I think. Sometimes it does. Where is Dassalin? When will he appear? Is he on board with the developments regarding establishment of a core by Janata Framamu in Shoa and growing closeness between AF, NF, and FPO in North Shore and on South Wollo, North Shore border? Thanks for watching.